They talk about the boom, but do they mention the bust? The headlines scream luxury, but the numbers don't lie. It's time to look the market straight in the eye. Welcome to the Miami Condo Exchange, where we break down the price, the scope, and the range. With Peter Zalewski, the authority here, making the complex simple, making the murky clear. From the buy-side pressure to the sell-side heat, we're tracking every move on the concrete street. We got the data, the stats, the metrics you need. Beyond the flash and the glamour, we're planting the seed of truth. We analyze the trends, we map out the spread. Is it vintage charm or a money pit trap? We're looking at the analytics, closing the gap. Past performance, present shock, future prediction. Separating hard reality from the friction of fiction. No sugarcoating, no fluff, no disguise. Just the raw condo numbers right before your eyes. South Florida is shifting, the tides start to turn. If you don't know the math, you're gonna get burned. Yeah, this is the Miami Condo Exchange. Welcome to the Miami Condo Exchange, where we break down the price, the scope, and the range. With Peter Zalewski, keeping it real, digging deep in the dirt of every single deal. From the buy-side pressure to the sell-side heat, the only podcast you need on the Miami street. Hey. Real numbers, real talk. The hyperbole stops here. This is the Miami Condo Exchange, y'all.
Happy Tuesday, Miami. This Miami Condo Exchange is a conversation about what's happening statistically in the condo market in the Tri-County, South Florida area of Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County. Today, we're talking about how we just lost 400 listings off of the overall supply down here in South Florida. At the same time, we also saw a pullback in pending sales. And you know what happened? The index actually went up. Why did it go up? Because the proportion of new or active listings that fell versus pending sales was much greater. So as a result, we got a little bit of a bump in the index. That's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about why we lost all these listings. We're going to be talking about the pending sales. We're going to be talking about what's going on county by county by county in the Tri-County, South Florida area. I'm Peter Zalewski. I'm a condo consultant, expert witness, founder of the Miami Condo Investing Club. We're doing our preparation for tomorrow's monthly meeting. On the second Wednesday of every month, I do a monthly meeting for club members of the Miami Condo Investing Club. So we've been rolling up the sleeves, been going through the research, trying to get everything all prepped, creating the charts, and giving it so that we can give everybody a great perspective as to where we are right now in the marketplace. If that's a meeting you're interested in attending, it's a virtual meeting. It goes on from noon to about 1 o'clock, 1:15 or so. In order to gain access to the meeting, you got to be a member of the club. The club is a community we're building. Started more than 2 years ago, basically trying to provide real-time data, actionable information for those people who are interested in the condo market in the South Florida area. If you're interested in watching the meeting live, we live stream it and or seeing it on demand. I encourage you to check out or maybe consider joining the Miami Condo Investing Club. You can get information at miamicondo.club. Also, too, one thing we're preparing for is this Saturday, we're going to be doing a walking tour, our season finale of Coral Gables. So we're doing a Coral Gables condo correction walking tour. We're going to be walking around roughly about 3 hours or so. We'll travel about 4 miles. We'll do it at a moderate pace. We'll have some stops along the way. Give everybody who attends the tour, we'll give them a list of all the condo projects that exist within that market. We'll teach you how to analyze condo projects. We'll help you to identify what are opportunities and also what are value traps or pitfalls. If that's something you're interested in. If you want to talk condos, you want to hear about the history of Coral Gables, how it kind of all came together. We encourage you to check it out. It'll be our last tour of the winter buying season, which goes from November through April. We'll be doing tours over the summer, but it's not going to be as regular as it is during the winter. One of the reasons is it's hot, it's humid, and there's hurricane warnings. So we'll probably try to front load some maybe in May and June. As we get in July and August, they'll probably really fall off. And then maybe we'll begin them back after Labor Day in September and get ramped up in October before we go into the next winter buying season. Understand, everybody, kind of where we are. We got 24 days left in the winter buying season. That winter buying season is primarily the time when people come here for an event. They come here for vacation. They come here to go on a cruise. While they're here, they typically fall in love with it. Then they decide to maybe take a shot at maybe investing in something. They start looking at condos because condos are easier than houses. Turnkey type of situation. You pay the maintenance fee. Somebody else is covering all the general common area stuff. And you as a unit owner, you basically just cover your maintenance fee, you cover your insurance, any other expenses that are involved with it. But you can basically come and go as you want rather than a house. So when people come down here for that event, for that vacation, for that cruise, they start shopping by the time they actually find a place, by the time they go under contract, by the time they close on it. And if they're using cash, it's probably going to take an extra 30 days. If they're using financing, it's just considered about 60 days. Many of those deals, they ultimately end up closing in the summer buying season, which will go from May through October. We don't know what to expect this summer buying season. Why? Because we've got a bunch of different events going on. First and foremost, right now, we have the Iran war going on. There's an ultimatum that President Trump has given to the country of Iran about basically eliminating their civilizations, the way he put it, taking them back to the Stone Ages. So we'll have to see what's going on there. Oil prices are far north of $100 a barrel. Easy way to sort of keep track of it is in South Florida, $65 a barrel oil means $3 every 10 bucks. And the price of oil will add about 25 cents a gallon to what you're paying at the pump. I don't have a car, so I'm not necessarily as concerned, but I also do realize everything is moved via fuel, whether it's being imports, whether it is Amazon, whether it's any kind of delivery. Also has an impact, too, on interest rates. Interest rates have moved higher and higher and higher ever since February the 27th, the day before the U.S. and Israel launched an attack on Iran. 30-year fixed rate mortgage is coming in at 5.99. It actually had a 5 handle. Where are we at now? We're getting close to 6.5. Some say we'll go to 7 before we get back to a 5. So we'll have to sort of see how that plays out. Affordability is an issue. We have all these different issues going on. And as a result of that, we're watching the condo market very closely because in 2026, for the first time, it became mandatory for condo associations to take these inspections that were done as a result of the Surfside condo collapse back in June of 2021. These inspections were done. They were done by licensed architects, licensed engineers. And as part of the inspections that were done, these architects and these engineers, they gave people an idea of the shelf life of all the different vital components of a building and also what it would cost to maintain them as well as repair them. And as a result of that, beginning in 2026, these associations, they have to start to collect reserves, capital reserves from individual unit owners and or take out loans. If you're looking at a loan as a condo association to kind of deal with some of this work that's necessary, because you can't hit up your unit owners to go ahead and come up with the cash, looking at interest rates north of 9%. If you are hitting individual unit owners with special assessment, our ballpark figure is if that building is up to 4 stories tall, consider it $25,000. If that building is between 5 and 14 stories, $65,000, and 15 stories or more, $100,000. And typically you get a year to pay. If you don't pay, condo association can move to foreclose on you and take it away from you. I did a podcast a couple of weeks back with an attorney that deals with foreclosures, an attorney that has got involved with short sales. What he says is the foreclosure right now, if somebody's not declaring a homestead, could take like 4 months or so, plus the 2 months it takes in order to go into default for the bank or the lender to move forward and trigger that list pendants or that foreclosure action. If the property is in fact homesteaded, which is a private protection that Florida offers to primary residents, probably looking at about a year or so, about 12 months or so in order to get that done. So we got a lot of moving parts. And as a result of this, people are realizing if they live in a condo, especially an older one, we call those older ones, by the way, which are 30 years or more, we call them vintage condos. So if people are living in condos, they're realizing that the cost of condo living has gone up because of rising maintenance fees, because of hefty special assessments related to the inspections, as well as insurance, pricey insurance. Insurance has pulled back somewhat this year as a result of last summer's hurricane season not being that bad. However, we're always on the brink of that thing sort of skyrocketing and going back up just like it had done for a number of years after the Surfside condo collapse, which, by the way, we're going to be marking 5-year anniversary in June of this year of that Surfside collapse, where nearly 100 people died. A $1 billion settlement was paid out to the families of the victim. It was this generation's Hurricane Andrew, which happened back in 1992, August of 92, and reshaped everything down here in South Florida in terms of real estate construction. And that's pretty much what Surfside has done for the condo market down here. So where do we stand here today, 24 days out from the end of the winter buying season, when people are here for events, they're here for vacation, they're here for cruises? Well, you got a lot of supply that's suddenly starting to peel off the market. We would venture to guess the reason that you're starting to see a drop in the number of listings in the marketplace is ultimately 6-month listings. They've expired and or they've been canceled. That window to unload your unit, it's closing quickly. And after it closes, good luck maybe selling something in the summer. Why? Because as we get into May, you'll probably get a cleanup of everything that went under contract now or just recently. You'll get into June, you'll have suddenly the FIFA World Cup, which will also go on July. Miami's going to be hosting some of the matches. A lot of people will be focused on the FIFA because they were focused on the World Cup. Let's see how much they necessarily pay attention to what's going on the real estate side. We get to August. August is historically dead in South Florida. Why? Because students are going to be going back to school late August. As a result of that, a lot of parents, they take their kids on vacation. They do their things. Maybe they head up to the Hamptons. Maybe they go to Europe. Maybe they go to Canada. Maybe they go to North Carolina. They tend to all flee town. Then after Labor Day, typically you come back and you start to see an uptick in the marketplace. But this year, we got the crucial midterm elections coming up. They're coming up in November. The marketing leading up to what will be these midterm elections in the beginning of November could, in fact, put some people on hold. Typically, when there's a big election, like a presidential election, some investors will sit on the sidelines. They'll wait to see how the vote goes down. Then they'll decide to go forward. So what I'm saying to you is, if, in fact, you're not able, you as a seller, and you're feeling the pain, you're cash strapped because of the cost of condo living, if you're not able to find a buyer basically in the next 3 weeks or so, good luck. You might be stuck with that thing until November. You might be stuck in that to the next winter buying season, which begins in November. You might be stuck with it until after Thanksgiving. So that is something that a lot of people need to sort of realize. But what we saw in the data is ultimately you saw the number of listings fall. And when they fell, you know what happened to pricing? Pricing also fell. That suggests to us, in terms of average asking price, as well as average asking price when properties went under contract, what that suggests to us is a lot of the higher priced condos, those are the ones that basically got canceled and or were withdrawn from the market, or simply the listing ended because of that 6-month window that most listings are based on. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to show you some charts. We're going to try to get through some of the statistics. We'll give you an overview about what's going on. Before I do that, though, I should tell you, though, because you're watching this live, you're going to get access to all of it. If you want to watch it on demand after the fact, once we do some edits, basically for template as well as sound, you'll have to be a member of the Miami Condo Investing Club. Again, we're building a community for those people who are interested in condo information. So you could be a DIY buyer. You could be a buyer working with a broker. You could be a listing agent who's having some trouble selling product, trying to understand the market. You could be a lender. You could be a gadfly. You could be a regulator. Anybody and everybody's welcome to go ahead and join the club. Again, give you that information. Don't give you the sugarcoating of the sell side industry, not Chamber of Commerce talk, but more so real-time information, market-moving information in which you can use to ultimately go out there and do whatever it is you want to do, whether it's buying, it's selling, or it's lending on some of these units. So let me go ahead. I'm going to pull up some charts. We'll go through the charts, and we'll give you an idea of kind of what is playing out as we sit here 24 days out from the winter buying season, and then the eve of our April 2026 monthly meeting of the Miami Condo Investing Club. So let me go ahead and I'm going to pull up these charts and everybody will get a nice little glimpse. And here we go. Now you guys should be able to see it. There we go. All right. So what we're going to start off with is we're going to start off with a shameless plug for our condo correction walking tour, the season finale for Coral Gables. We're doing it this Saturday, 10 o'clock. It'll go till 1 o'clock. Anybody's interested, you can go to miamicondo.club. Up at the top of the say tours, or simply go to the ticketing agency. And the way to get to the ticketing agency, which by the way is Eventbrite, you go to miamicondoclub.eventbrite.com. So Coral Gables this Saturday. Going to continue on. There's that Miami Condo Investing Club. It started in 2024. You guys can get information about that. Any of you looking for vintage condos, maybe chasing after some of these older ones, which offer better locations and generally speaking, bigger spaces. Give Jenny Hortas from CVR Realty, my partner, give her a call. She'd probably help you out. Her website, cvrrealty.com. Continue on. Maybe some of you sell side people, you can't sell a condo, you can't figure out why. All the information you're getting from your broker, it's not necessarily working out. Maybe we can give you the straight talk. So again, consider joining the club. But we'll continue on. I do a podcast every weekday at 4:00. And we're always talking about a different topic. On Mondays, I do Miami Condo Mondays with my partner, Jenny Huertas from CVR Realty. Tuesdays, we talk data when we do the Miami Condo Exchange. Wednesday, I do the Peter Zalewski Show, which is a one-on-one interview with somebody I think is important. Thursdays, we talk about the distressed condo market. And then on Friday, we wrap up the week with something called Buy, Sell, Hold, in which I do a podcast with Daniel Hernandez over at Compass Real Estate. We picked 5 big stories that occurred within the last week, and then we discussed them. We decide, are we a buy on the story, a sell on the story, or hold on the story? So that's that. There's Miami Condo Cliff Index. That's what we're going to be referring to. So you guys know it's tracking active listings and pending sales. A lot of us will rely on closed sales data. Problem with closed sales data, it's from the past. It happened 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, maybe even 120 days ago, because when the data is released at the end of the quarter, there's a processing time. So it doesn't necessarily reflect where we're at in the marketplace. It tells you where we were, just like unemployment numbers reflect where we were. If you want to see kind of where we're going, a lot of people look at the indices on Wall Street, whether it be the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, it'd be the NASDAQ. That's supposed to forecast the future. So what we did is we created an index in order to forecast the future. We do it on a week-over-week basis to give you real-time analysis of what's going on in the Tri-County South